What's going on, my trainer club? We have Salamence Bagon Shiny Community Day coming this Saturday, April 13th. So what I'm gonna do is break down the top tips to help you maximize and to check out the new exclusive move for Salamence. So welcome to the trainer club, guys. Here we go. Wow, just coming out to film this video, and the Salamence move just got announced. It is official. Have you guys heard? If you haven't, Salamence is getting Outrage. So Fly is not going to be the move, which was going to be a pretty cool moveset. And I was going to cover that because it was going to make him one of the top generalists in the game. But he got Outrage instead, which I'm actually pretty hyped about because now it makes Salamence more useful as a dragon Pokemon because it's a 2-bar attack specials. So we will get into that. So now with this new moveset, drop in the comments, how hyped are you guys for this community? I feel like this just added the icing on top of this beautiful cake. I am super stoked. Also, make sure to hit that sub button so that you can stay subscribed and have my notifications for all of my videos on the upcoming content. We have a ton going on, and I want to make sure to deliver all of that quality information to you. So officially, Bagon Community Day is going to be on Saturday from 3 to 6 p.m. in your local time zones. So they're still only doing it locally, so you don't have to worry about where it is, when it is, what time it is for you. It's 3 to 6 p.m. locally. So the bonus for this event is going to be 3 times on the catch XP. So you're going to want to make sure to maximize as much as you possibly can. So we're gonna go over right now my top tips to help you maximize, and I have a new one in here for you guys thanks to one of my friends in Oregon that's gonna help you with the iPhone to help you search for the 100% IVs in your bag very easily. So number one, we wanna just be prepared as possible. I'm going to go over the basics and then we'll get into the little bit more complicated. So being prepared as possible, since Bagon is super rare for me and I don't really want to use a ton of rare candy on him, I am going to be using a ton of pineapple berries. So I am looking to get my pineapple berries around 300. And I'm going to also want to try to get my Ultra Balls around 300. I plan on catching all of these guys using pineapple berries to be able to maximize on the candies for 1 and then obviously the shinies for 2. So the shiny rate on Community Day is approximately 1 in 24.5. So take that into account. Know about that. That doesn't mean that that's exactly what you're going to get. Sometimes you'll get quicker. Sometimes you'll get longer distances where you're not going to get one. But overall, that's about the average. And the other thing I want to note is make sure to have enough room in your bag. So delete everything you possibly can to get those out of your bag. Have as many space storage, and I would just add 50 onto that of what you plan to catch. I plan on trading probably about 300 Bagon. So what I plan to do is have about 300 storage places in my bag, and when you are hunting and you want to delete that, what you can do is you can do exclamation point and then type Bagon after that. When you do that, all of the Bagons will be removed from your bag. So if you happen to catch like a Charmander or a Weedle or a Caterpie or a Pidgey when you're sitting there waiting and there's no Bagons around, you can go ahead and easily select those, delete them, and it won't touch your Bagon. So that's going to be the best thing we can possibly do. And then we also want to, going on to my tip number 2, is to utilize the most amount of bonuses that we possibly can, meaning we want to use our items. So we want to use lucky eggs the entire time. Because we have 3 times catch XP, you might as well utilize this. Number 2, you're going to want to do incense. And I love the incense because you do pull an occasional shiny from the incense, and it's usually the Bagon. So you're going to want to do that. And then number 3, you're also going to want to do your star piece as much as possible. Keep it on the entire time. What I suggest doing for this is setting up an alarm schedule on your phone. So for me, it's going to be an alarm at 3:30, 4, 4:30, 5, 5:30, right? And I'm gonna have those alarms going off every 30 minutes to remind me to go back in and put on, because when you're catching, you're consumed in the game. It's very difficult for you to be like, oh my gosh, it's 3:30, I need to pop it again, right? Usually for me, when I rely just on me catching the time, it'll end up be like 10 minutes after that. And if you're really trying to maximize on every possible XP Stardust that we can possibly get during this, which I am, because I'm trying to get to 10 million Stardust and I'm trying to get to 100 million XP, I want to capitalize. So if you're gonna use one every 30 minutes, you're gonna need 6 of each. You're gonna need 6 of the eggs, you're gonna need 6 of the star pieces, and you're gonna need 6 of the incenses to get you. Another thing you can do, which I don't know if this is the best time to do it, but it is an option. You can always go ahead and utilize a Melton box. I know we kind of forgot about those guys. We've gotten so much candy, and me personally, that I don't really use them anymore, but that is a potential for you if you're like walking around, you're like, I might as well throw something else cool on, right? Which Bagon Day, maybe not the best time for it, maybe on like Chikorita Day or something like that, but that is an option for you, and I wanted to point that out. So my tip number 3 is going to be to make sure to get to your downtown areas, right? So your very highly dense spawn areas, which means if you don't know what that is, where gets a ton of cell phone signal, right? Are you like in a downtown area that there's a nice square or rectangle or circle type walkway with a ton of gyms, ton of stops, get to that area? Or maybe you're in a desolate area and you have a Walmart around. Walmart parking lots are usually great for Pokemon spawns. I'm telling you, there's always clusters at those spawns. And I know in your area, you know where there's good cluster spawns, where there's good density of spawns. Maybe it's a park area, right? There's usually a good density in park, Pokestops, gyms, so that you can go ahead and utilize those. The one thing I'm gonna point out here is that rolling up to this, let's say you're getting there early, because I'm gonna get there early, I'm stoked on this. I actually want to completely maximize, get as many as I possibly can. So let's say it's 2:45. Number 1, do not play and catch Pokemon while you're waiting, because once it hits 3 o'clock, those Pokemon are going to change over to Bagon spawns potentially. So if you catch all of them, then you're going to have to wait for that spawn to then respawn, right? So don't do that. I know the lures are going to spawn their own Pokemon, but the actual spawns in the regular area can change over to Bagon. So you're not going to want to catch those guys. The other thing you're going to want to do is do not hit the stops in that area and do the research tasks before the event, because at 3, we are going to switch over to getting Stardust, Great Balls, Ultra Balls, and Pineapple Berries, which are very easy to get because it's like catch 3 Bagon, right? And you'll get one of those. So you do not want to complete those stops because you want to have the potential to, number 1, get as many items as you possibly can during this event and keep your ball count up and keep your Pineapple count up if you're not going in with as many as me, or if you're catching more than you anticipated. And then that comes to number 4, we are going to cover the Salamence with the Outrage. It is an absolute must to have because the Outrage is a 2-bar special. So although Draco Meteor, technically speaking, is more powerful, the one thing you do not take into consideration is that it is a 1-bar special, and that's what these calculations are very hard to do, right? Once it becomes Outrage with a 2-bar special, you are going to get special, right? 2 specials for the price of 1. Even though Draco Meteor is more powerful, let's say then you got hit with something, you're about to die, and you got half of another special, you can then do Outrage again instead of having to die out with half of your Draco Meteor power, basically going to the wayside. So that is the difference maker. The 2-bar, 3-bar specials in raid bosses is absolute difference maker. So although Rayquaza is still the reigning supreme dragon attacker, Salamence now falls as far as like DPS, TDO, all the combinations. He is basically like kind of like flip-flopped with Dragonite. So Dragonite will be a little bit tankier. Salamence is going to do a little bit more damage. What that means when we're checking this out, we have Rayquaza at an 18.68 DPS. We have Salamence with Dragon Tail Outrage at 18.27. And then we have Salamence with Dragon Tail Draco Meteor at 17.93. So it actually, in this calculation, is going out in his favor. And then we have Palkia coming down. And then we have Dragonite at 17.23. So they're virtually similar in DPS, but the TDO is going to be different. So for the Salamence, we have 536. For the Dragonite, we have 570. And for the Rayquaza, we have 546. So they're very, very similar. There's not a huge difference. But now that we have this Outrage, it's going to be a dragon that you're going to be like, do I really want to put a Salamence in there because he has the Draco Meteor 1-bar special? Now the answer is yes, because he has Outrage. You can absolutely use him. It's much better. It's not like your second page of dragon attackers. And then if we're using the more thorough calculation, we are doing DPS times TDO, which is going to rank the Rayquaza with 3,564, and then it's going to rank the Salamence with the Outrage in second place at 3,269. So taking all that into account, this is really the ranking, and then we're going down. We have the Salamence with the Draco Meteor, and then we have Palkia, and then we have the Dragonite down there at 2917. So these are just the facts, guys. You absolutely must have this Outrage. Evolve as many as you can, and then since we're having the potential to get lucky friends, I would suggest instead of like waiting and then evolving for Bagon, evolve all the Salamances. Once you then hit lucky friends with somebody, then you can trade the Salamances with the exclusive movesets, so then you can get better IVs. You'll have the lucky IVs, and then you can power them up from there. So take this into account. if you want to evolve a full spectrum Bagon to Shelgon to Salamence, it's going to take you about 10 catches with pineapple berries plus transfers, or 18 catches without plus transfers. So that is what you're going to have to take into account when you're calculating how many you want. The other thing you may want to consider, if you're powering up a full team of Salamances from level 20 all the way to max, you're going to need 2,227 candy. So that's a pretty good amount of candy. That's why I'm going in there with a ton of pineapple berries, because I want to absolutely maximize on these as much as I can. And the other thing you can note is you can also evolve all your shinies. Once you hit the lucky friends, you can then trade your shiny Salamances with this exclusive moveset for a lucky. Boom, that's the best thing you can possibly do. And then my tip number 5 is going to be to make sure to use the string for the CP ranges for the 100% IVs for the Bagons. What you can do is check in my description below, pull the link to the gamepress. Shout out to gamepress for providing all this amazing information today. Super big shout out to them. Really appreciate this article. And what you can do if you're on an Android phone, you can copy it and paste it into your search bar. However, if you are on an iPhone, cannot copy and paste it in. So thank you to Jameson. If you want to go check out Rubik's Guy on YouTube, super appreciate him for enlightening me on this topic. What you can do is you can create a keyboard shortcut on an iPhone. So what you're going to do on the iPhone is you're going to go into the settings, then you're going to go into general. Once you're in general, you're going to go to keyboard, and then you're going to go into text replacement. And in the top right corner, you can go ahead and click a plus sign. You can enter in a new shortcut command. What you're going to do is then go to the gamepress site. You're going to copy that entire CP string, and you're going to paste it in the phrase. And then for the shortcut, you're going to put something like BGN or Bagon or something like that, right? And then you're going to save it. And then when you go into Pokemon Go, what you're going to do is you're going to type that phrase. Your phone is then going to recognize it as a shortcut. When you click the space bar, it is going to change it into this entire CP string and pull it up, and it's going to search your entire bag of Bagons to see if you got a 100% IV potential, right? And then when those pop up, you're going to want to appraise those few. So we're going to miss out if we have like a 98, 96 or anything like that. What you're going to want to do is when you're trading, you're going to want to check out for those. Here's the other thing. If this year goes as last year did, we are going to have a December community day, going to recap all the Pokemon from this year with the shinies and the movesets. So you can then go back and find all these Bagons that you potentially have that are good IVs from trading after the event, and then you can go ahead and save them or save the luckies and then evolve them during December to get this moveset. And giving us 1 hour afterwards, what you're going to want to do is ideally you're going to want to trade with somebody that is about 10 kilometers apart, because then you're going to get 2 Bagon candies. So what I suggest you do is from 6 to 640, you trade as much as physically possible, right? Trade. Preferably, you're going into this community day with an already lucky good friend, right? Because if you already have the good friend lucky, you can then automatically trade the shiny Bagons. You can get the lucky Bagons, and then you can evolve them for the Salamence shiny with the Outrage. And then you're going to trade. You're going to get more lucky Bagons, and then you're going to evolve them. So that's the key here, is the trading afterwards before the evolutions. I set at least about 20 minutes to give yourself to evolve all of these guys. Woo! All right, guys, that is a lot to handle. I know you guys are going to do amazing. I cannot wait for this day. It is going to be super, super good. Honestly, probably one of the best community days in anticipation for me, probably since Larvitar. Honestly, I am super hyped for this. Bagon's rare. I love Bagon. He's super cute. Salamence now has Outrage. He's a dominant dragon attacker. It is something that we need for raid battles. Not as much in PvP, but it is definitely something. So clear your bag out. Get to that downtown areas. Grind with your friends. Hopefully you're going in with somebody who's your best friend. That's a lucky friend that you can trade your Bagons with. You have your CP string set up in either Android to copy or in your shortcuts in your iPhone. And then you're able to maximize on everything you can. You have enough pineapple berries, you have enough of the items to utilize to get your bonuses, with the lucky eggs for the XP, with the star pieces for the stardust, and then with the incense to boost your spawns. And you have enough bag space, everything's cleaned out, your timers are set up. You guys are ready to go. I already know why you're here. You want to be the best that you can, and I am super grateful that you checked out this video and you are prepped and ready to your maximum. Hit that sub button if I provided you some value, and I will see you guys out getting those shiny Bagons.